Shefsky here. Welcome to Fantasy House. Every week, I have a different special guest come on this show, and what do? They give us a tour of their imaginary, trippy fantasy house. There's no limits on technology or money or anything like that. It's like Rick and Morty Adventure Time meets MTV Cribs, that kind of thing. So it's super cartoony and fun, and I find it to be really exciting for me as someone doing the interview, and then if you're like driving your car right now to work, which I know you're not unless you're listening to this in the future, but right now, you're probably just at home chilling. Maybe you're hiding in a room from your kids. Maybe you're in a studio apartment by yourself and you're just like, I want to hear somebody's voice. Well, you're going to hear our voices and we're going to have a good time. It's really good. So I'm just grateful to be having this technology and being able to do this during the pandemic. It's like day 43 for me, so I'm excited. This show is brought to you by me, Jon Shefsky. I'm your Southern California realtor, and even though everybody's quarantined and stuck inside, except for essential workers, still doing real estate. It's still happening. Just closed escrow the other day on a property, and people are just doing more virtual tours, and there's a bunch of stuff going on. So people are still selling and buying. It's a trip. It's a very trippy time, but it's being done. The human element is still here. So if you want to do anything with real estate, or if you're just curious, if you're like, hey, what I want to buy a house in a year, what do I do, John? Just send me an email, fantasyhousepodcast@gmail.com, and we will chat. It will be fun. I would love to. I've done several buyer's consultations through Zoom. We can do that, which is what we're recording on now. So if you're like, Shefsky, the sound sucks. It's always usually so good, and now it sucks. Right now, during the quarantine, the sound is all Zoom. So forgive me. And that's your warning there. All right. My guest today is a good friend of mine. We've been doing comedy together for years. We've riffed. We've cried. We've riffed. We've loved. We've riffed some more. Paul Palmeri is here, and I'm so freaking excited to do this. We're supposed to do this in person. And
yes.
He was gracious enough to say, yes, we can do a crappy Zoom version, John. And I was like, thank you. Thank you, Paul. So let's get this started. In the words of the great Angelo Bowers, let us do this.
Won't you take it all around over to your fantasy house? Your host with the most experience guest in your fantasy house. Get all the money for expensive construction. The only limit is your imagination.
We made it to nap time, so that's like how I delineate my days.
That's what it is. Parenting parenting for quarantiners is like a whole special book.
Bro, I just texted, you remember Taylor. Yeah, Taylor.
Taylor Boss?
No, Ketchum. Different Taylor.
Of course I remember Taylor Ketchum. I remember both Taylor Boss and Taylor Ketchum.
Of course. When you said Boss, I was like, oh man, I love Taylor Boss.
I still have a pair of Converse out front, Chuck Taylor's, everything. Totally remember.
That if the day were like only 22 hours long, I'd be the greatest dad in the world.
Great.
But it's just those extra 2 hours where I'm just like out of steam. But everything's good, man. Kids are good. Kids are healthy. Wife's healthy. Everyone's healthy.
Good.
Sitting in my garage.
You got a cool garage.
Thanks, bro.
It's a 3-car?
2-car. Technically 3. 2, like a double and then a single.
Yeah.
But it's weird. Where I grew up in New Jersey, like everyone parks their cars in the garage. And no one really does that out here, I've found.
Because our weather's better than New Jersey weather, right?
Yeah. So this whole like just hanging out in your garage because it exists as a space.
Yeah.
Totally different to me, but I'm into it. Also in New Jersey, everyone has basements, which no one has out here. So
I'd rather have a basement, dude. Basements are
that's
so
what I'm
awesome.
saying. There is a finished basement with a full kitchen in my fantasy house.
We're already there? Oh, damn!
Yeah, I do my research, bro. I don't go into podcasts. That's not true. I went into one podcast completely unprepared, and I was like, I will never do that again.
I'll never do that again? You're like, after that podcast?
I thought we were just going to talk about Rocky, and then like we talked about politics for like an hour and a half, and then they were like, you saw Rocky, right? And I was like, So I am a prepared guest.
I love it, dude. I love it. Well, if you want to, we can go right into it. I mean, I generally like to and just in case my listeners are going, how'd you know about Paul's garage? We're recording this on Zoom, so we don't release it the video, but we don't release it a video. I said so Italian, stereotypical. Because I got Paul on here. We don't release it a video.
You might want to, because I've been told that I have a body for podcasts.
You have a body for television. I mean, I'm not gay, but I'm a painter, and you got a great body, dude. You got a great body.
Thank you.
Got a beautiful face, chiseled chin. Yeah. And deltoids. They look like a couple of freaking turtle shells on his shoulder. This guy is unreal. Sexy.
You stop in 5 minutes. Keep going.
This is why I can't be a video podcast, because YouTube will flag it for porn because he's so hot, folks. So, dude, you've been doing stand-up for how long?
Ever. No, not, 10 years, 11 years.
Did you think you were going to have kids like forever, or did this like turn into a thing?
No, it's funny because, I grew up and I thought I was just going to be a normal person that, went to college, got a job, got married, and that like did not, the farthest thing from that happened. And so growing up, I always thought I would be a dad, but then my sister had kids and I was really close with her kids and I wasn't really dating anyone. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this is it. Maybe I'm just like cool, fun uncle, good uncle guy.
Which is a great place to be for a lot of people. It's perfect.
Yeah. And then when I came out here and, whatever happened with my life happened, I was just kind of like resigned to whatever happens. And it was funny. I always tell this story when people ask how me and my wife met, and yet and I was standing in the back of the Comedy Store at like 1:35 in the morning on like a weekday.
Yeah.
And I had the realization where I was like, you know what? Maybe this is it. Like maybe I don't, I'm not going to have a family, but like I get to do this and this is kind of cool. And people with families don't get to do this. So like maybe this is it. And then that was like a middle of the week. And then I went back home to Jersey for a wedding that weekend. And then the night that I got back, like 2 hours after I landed, I met my now wife.
Really?
Yeah.
After that thought and that experience.
Yeah. Like it was like truly a lesson in like just acceptance, where as soon as I had that thought and I was like, oh, because I had that thought before, but I was like, no, I was resistant to it.
Yeah.
And then I had that thought and I was just kind of like, it wasn't even like I was putting any thought into it. I was more probably like, what the fuck am I doing here watching whoever the fuck was on stage at 1:30?
Totally.
David Taylor or some shit.
Yeah.
And then, I met Amaya, whenever I got back, Monday or Tuesday of the following week. So yeah, but it wasn't like I met her and I was like, no, I can't. I'm going to be the world's greatest comedian. I need to be in the OR at 1:35 on Wednesdays. I'm not going to pursue,
Some people have both, right? But it's like, it's a even more.
Yeah, but when you don't have one, you don't think of like, you tend to think once you have children, your life is essentially over. And anyone that I talk to who's kind of, freaking out about what it's like I always tell them like your life really continues. It's just different, like, sure, I could be in the OR at 1:30 in the morning, but I better be okay with getting 4 hours of sleep that night. You know what I mean?
Some people totally can, and they can still function. They're like, I just have coffee and everything's fine. But like, yeah, I need my 6 hours at least, if not 8 hours.
Oh my God.
Which is hard to get the older I get.
I'm like a 4 hour or like 11 hours person.
I'm an LA4. But,
yes, if I'm sleeping in the Midwest, I need 11 hours.
11 hours. Oh, dude, if I could get 11 hours of sleep. Dude, my buddy had coronavirus, or they think they did, him and his wife. And he told me like he had like one of the nights he got like 14 hours of sleep. He's like, I woke up and I was like, I slept 14 hours. And they seem to be okay now. So pretty funny though. Like I was like 14 hours, dude. Like,
forget it.
Huh?
I said, forget it.
No, dude.
Those days are long gone. Even, and even when you're not with them, the world was open and we could go escape for a night. and stay down in San Diego for a night. It was still like up at 7, whatever, 8, you know,
totally.
like.
Speaking of which, I definitely miss going down to San Diego. That's something that I haven't done forever, and I was planning it with my buddy Gordon Downs. I was like, I'm going to go to San Diego. I'll be down there. I used to call it Club Gordon. Just have a break from like life up here and come to a spot with you and we'll just eat a bunch of chili relleno burritos. And I don't know when that's going to happen now.
Can't do that anymore.
That's the new saying. Can't do that anymore.
I'd buy that for $1.
That's the new Jeff Foxworthy fucking. Can't do that anymore. Hugging your grandma. Can't do that anymore.
Well, you know what's? I want to get back to this because you asked me, and it's crazy to think about. But you asked me how long I've been doing stand up, and I just last night. So I got back on Facebook. I got off it like 4 or 5 years ago, just because it was bad for my brain.
Yeah, totally.
And now I don't have anything to do besides keep 2 kids alive and a wife happy. I got back on and I'm getting all these memories. And last night a flyer popped up where I put a show on at Genghis Cohen for me, Robbie, Casey, and Sandro.
Totally.
Where we all did 20 minutes. And I was like, oh man, that was so great. But the whole point behind doing the show was like, we're ready to do 20 minutes. And I looked at the flyer and it was 8 fucking years ago. And I was like, why 8? Why 3 years in I was like, enough of these 8-minute spots. This is crazy.
I know, huh? It's funny remembering. You're like, I thought I knew what I was doing there, but I just listened to a tape myself, and I fucking sucked.
Oh, like, awful. I can't I can't even it's twofold because it's like I can't believe that was 8 years ago, and I also can't believe that 8 years ago I was like, I'm ready.
I mean, you gotta have the delusion, so you take the shots. But holy shit. Right. It's nuts.
But full disclosure, I did crush. No, I didn't, dude. I did okay, and then Casey crushed, and then it was mostly my coworkers that made up the audience. And then for like a whole month, all happened when I went into work was people being like, "Man, your friend Casey is so funny," and I was like, "Fuck you."
Whenever that happens, you just take it like, "Oh, cool, thanks, man. I'll let her know."
Yeah.
Anything else about any other notes on that show?
Yeah. That's
Anybody
it.
Else? Anybody else tickle your fancy? Did you guys catch another rising star that night by any chance? Anyone? That old Hedberg joke. He did not say if I was good. So, dude, I saw you at the airport. You know the joke I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
It's the one who goes like, I saw a guy came up to me at the airport, and he told me he did not say whether he thought I was good or not. So he just came up and said, hey, dude, I saw you on TV last night. And so I said, hey, dude, I saw you at the airport. Like, that stress of like people not telling, and I'm sure I butchered the joke, but just that stress of people being like, I saw your stand-up, and you're like, and what did you think? My mom came out to see me once, and I killed it. It was at one of those Doug James shows in Huntington Beach.
Sure.
And like just one of those rowdy bar shows, but if you could get them, you could really get them, you know?
Yeah,
and I killed it. I had such a good set. And dude, I was like, just so hungry for my mom to just say like that like, great set, you were really funny. I was like trying to set up sentences for her, like, and then I was, and like, and what did you think? And the whole, I mean, literally kissed her as she got into her car and was like, bye, Mom. And then like, love you. And then like, she left, and I was like, couldn't get my mom to just say, you were really funny last night. Right. Well, that was really funny. A good set. Like, and she was still like complimenting in ways, but I was just like, can you just say like, I killed it, right, Mom? Like, that's how I knew like why I'm a sick person that needs to do stand up. I was like, just need mommy to say it. Just say it.
Yeah, man. It's real.
It's real, dog. Israel. That's a country, right? Hopefully they're coming up with a vaccine. Israel. So take us to the geographic location of your fantasy house. We're flying the fantasy house drone over it.
My fantasy house moves. So in the summer, it exists in Southern California, right?
Right.
And in the winter, it lives in Sun Valley, Idaho.
Hell yeah. Idaho? Why? Do you want to do some snow sports, dog?
Snowshoeing. No. Amaya has an aunt that lives up in Sun Valley, or like, you know, the town outside of Sun Valley.
Yeah.
And we went up there, and I was like, I'm very rarely get like attached geographically to places where I don't spend an awful lot of time. But like the second we got there, I was like, we need to buy, like, eventually we need to get a house here, retire here, something. Cause it's like, I didn't know that a place like that existed where there were like I grew up in New Jersey where everyone pretty much has a yard. They have some space. Like there's a house, but there's property. So like it took me a while to adjust to Southern California where it was just like house, maybe a backyard, maybe a front yard. And in Sun Valley, it's like every house is on a property, but it's not like, that was the other thing about where I grew up in Jersey was like every house had a property, but it was like, an acre, a half an acre. So it was like, you didn't really know your neighbor. You didn't really talk to them, whatever. And that's not all of New Jersey. That's just where I grew up. But Sun Valley was just like, huh?
I said, so no offense, guys.
Yeah, no offense, entire country of New Jersey. But it's just a perfect place. It's like it's a perfect combination of like, it's friendly. People are friendly. They talk to you, but it's not like, this is weird. It's not like a Pleasantville feeling. Like people say hi, but then they move on, or they'll be like, oh, I really like those chips. And you're not like weirded out by it,
Totally.
So my fantasy house moves. And then also the mountain is like incredible up there. So
everything about that place is, I don't know how they're going to sustain, because it really feels like it's the new Austin or the new Portland.
Sure.
Like there's such a flight of people going there.
Yeah.
And we just had my wife's friend's husband and wife just moved up there. And like, I mean, not very often or not too much time goes by before I talk to someone or a client or someone that's like, yeah, so-and-so, we're thinking about going up to Idaho. Or
like anywhere in or like Boise or Sun Valley.
Boise, obviously the most popular just because it's Boise.
Sure.
Idaho just comes up. And even in investing, like for apartment buildings and whatnot, like there's steady growth in certain way. I mean, who knows where that's going to be right now with what's going on with our economy? But
yeah,
to me, it's like one of those newer places. Like, hey, go buy a couple single family houses up there. Just buy them right now, just to hold on to them. Because they're going to be like, people are going to be continuing to move up there, I think, for a long time until they hate Californians.
Right. Well, dude, I spoke to, and this is a bit of an aside, but I was in the barber shop that we spoke about earlier, and this kid was getting his hair cut, and his mom was there. This kid was like, obviously young enough where he needed his mom there. And my barber's talking to the mom, so where are you thinking of moving? And she brought up Idaho, and I very rarely like chime in, and you'll find out why after I finish this story. And I was like, I don't know if you've ever been to Idaho, but it's like, it's gorgeous. And she was like, oh my God, yada, yada. We love it. We love it. We love it. This, that, the other thing. We just can't take Southern California anymore. Especially all these Mexicans. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to go outside in my car.
It's so weird to me. Like in this day and age, people not only being racist, but being so comfortable. Like we're all going to be like, yes, all of these Mexicans. Like,
yeah.
What? Like,
yeah, you don't know.
I feel more bad for them because I'm like, do you not have like Mexican friends? Like, it's like that Us Weekly thing. Stars, they're just like us. Mexicans, they're just like us. Like, they're just another people. Like, it's such a weird thing to grab onto as an identity of things. Like Mexicans. What's your problem with Mexicans?
Yeah, they're just people.
Are you upset about
like everyone else?
Yeah. Is it? I don't know.
Anyway, that's why I don't chime in with strangers, really.
That's why I do chime in, because I like to be like, oh, Mexicans, huh? So tell me a little bit more about these Mexicans. I pull up a little armchair and I say, like, lay down, like, what do these Mexicans do? Do they come to you at night when you're sleeping? Do they abduct you into their Mexican sombrero UFOs and you run little tests on you? Like, what is it that you don't like about Mexicans? It's such a weird thing.
Sombrero UFO is a great name for a restaurant.
Or a stupid band, or an improv group.
Oh,
for my new podcast coming to the Death. What is it? Death. What's Brian's?
Death Squad.
Death Squad. I almost said Death Kitty because he has the cat. Death Kitty.
Death Cats Brian Corporation.
That'd be funny to totally like do one of those like weird international ripoffs, like Brian Redhill's Death Cat podcast thing, and it's like all themed after everything, same font.
The live crew.
Okay, so two live crew. So okay, let's get to this house. I want to see it now. So it moves locations. How does it move locations?
Hovercraft.
Hovercraft. Did you say plural hovercraft? Is there hovercrafts?
It can be. If it's if need be, if my hovercraft needs a friend.
You're one of those kings that has too much technology at his fingertips that he can't make his mind like, make it a lot of hovercrafts. No, just one. No, make it a lot of hovercrafts. And the robot's trying to like keep up, like, sir, I'm trying. So make it another.
Sir, everything works off of a work order. Okay, I can't possibly keep up.
The nano robots cannot keep up with your thoughts. No, make it lots of, don't even make it hovercrafts. Make it a bunch of legs and then give those hovercrafts. Sir, please take a break. Smoke is steaming out of the Alexa in your fantasy house.
So yeah, it moves via hovercraft that's built into the foundation, obviously.
What's it look like? If you had to paint a visual picture of it for us.
It looks like an amalgamation of, God, I hope I use that word right.
Amalgamation X? He did a lot.
Of the house I grew up in and then the house that my parents moved to after I got out of college. So I would say modern, but also classic.
What color? Is it bricks or wood siding? Or
Not bricks. I don't do bricks. I don't fucks with bricks.
I don't do bricks. You sound like a contractor that's just salty and set in his way. And my husband and I were thinking about doing bricks over here. I don't do bricks.
Yeah,
I don't do bricks.
I don't do them. Stone. I like a nice stone. I don't know all the proper terminology.
Like cobblestone kind of looking stones? Like big round?
Yes, big round stones that all somehow fit together on a square wall.
Oh, I love that. I love when I'm walking by a house that has that. I'm like, how'd you guys get those things to fit together?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a house in my neighborhood that I love that has that. I'm always like, you guys really made out pretty well. It's all pretty level. How'd you figure that out? Like,
yeah.
what did you do?
Is this all one stone and you just drew in between it to make it look like tiny stones?
It's like a new Jimmy Kimmel segment of just like dumb questions for stonemasons or for masons.
Bro, stuff like that.
Stones to be so level.
Do you have any idea how much that stuff like stresses me out? Like when I see when I drive up the 405 and I see all that stuff like in Carson, like the oil refineries.
Yeah.
I get stressed out because I'm like, how did you know what to do?
Oh, you get overwhelmed by the math that even goes into it. You're like, how
yeah.
Dude, I just say, wait, it overwhelms me.
Yeah, like I can't even do a puzzle. And that's pretty clear cut. And then like all of a sudden someone was just like, oh yeah, you need this doohickey built? And it needs to be how big? No problem. Like that stresses me out, bro.
Dude, same thing here. Dude, since I was a kid, I tried to understand like supply lines and like how how does a brick become a brick? And then I'd be like,
yeah.
But then after that brick, there's like, they just have to keep making bricks. Like how stressful that you've never just done like anything, any job. I've always been like, wait, so I got to get a paycheck every week? Like I got to come back and keep doing that. I can't just like do it once, get the points and be done.
Yeah.
That shit overwhelms me.
Yeah.
Look at us with our weird fears, just trying to talk about it.
Fears that do not affect me in any way. Like I act like someone's asked me. Like I think that's part of the fear too. Is someone's going to come to me and be like, "We need you to finish this job," and I'm just going to be like, "What?" Like,
and that's a very real possibility in our modern world. Like, hey, everybody's dead. Can you build this? Joe Rogan used to have a bit like a couple years ago. Like, does anyone know how this microphone works? I don't fucking know. And, and it was so funny. He's talking about like apocalypse. Like, someone else figured this out. I don't know. And like, but I still think about that. Like on the daily, I'll be like, I don't know how to like do anything. My dryer didn't work, and I was like, I gotta unscrew stuff. Okay, I'll poke around, but after I poke around, that's it.
Dude, the amount of times so we have a hose outside, and it just like leaks from somewhere. It's not the hose, and Amaya will be like, "We really need to figure this water out," and I'm like, "You mean we need to call a plumber?" That's what the sentence. Because like as most I can do is go out there and be like, "Yep, that's water."
And it's time to call the plumber.
Yeah, like I don't know what you're talking about.
That's how my dad is too, though. My dad will just be like, "We got to figure that out," and I'll be like, "Yeah, my way of figuring out is like call a lawyer, call a repairman, call the cops." Like other than that, I'm like, I let the pros do it, and my dad just will let something just sit, and I'll be like, "It should get fixed." But my dad will be like, "Oh, we're not calling a lawyer," and I'm like, "Okay, then how do we fix it?" "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. So neither one of us know what the fuck we're talking about. I don't remember what joke, what Bill Burr joke that is. I feel like it's all of them. So it's on hovercrafts. I'm going to say 4-car garage.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's not too fancy for a fantasy house. You could have said 100-car garage. I mean, that's pretty cool. Okay.
I don't need that. I don't need
cars in that garage.
Ooh, good question. Well, I need the family car. So I'm going to say a Chevy Tahoe. Look, here's the thing with me also is that like all of my dreams essentially have already come true.
That's beautiful.
Because my life is like,
oh my God, it's wonderful.
My life used to fit in a backpack, people. Yeah. So like anything bigger than that. I remember I found an old, like when you first get, clean, whatever, they make you write down like your wildest dreams. And I found my list the other day and literally just said my own apartment, no debt, and a career. That's all it said. That's all I could come up with. Like, I was like, write down my wildest dreams. No problem. It's 3 things. So anything above that is good. So 4-car garage, Chevy Tahoe. I'm not going to say Yukon Denali because it's the same exact car. It's just more expensive.
So even in your fantasy house, you're being practical here. You're like, I don't need
Yes.
that.
Yeah, I don't need, also throw people off the scent. They don't need to know what I got going on.
Nice. Okay.
So that'll be the family car. Amaya really she dreams about a Tesla. So I'll throw.
Wow. She dreams about a Tesla, huh? I haven't heard that one before. We're all dreaming about a Tesla. Yes, dude. I'm like, can we make Elon Musk the president? Can I get one of those cars? Can someone get me some solar panels? Can we just fix some of this shit around here? Yeah, dude. Get her a Tesla for your dream house.
That'll be her car, and then I really want a Mercedes S65 AMG coupe. That'll be my car.
AMG. You can take the boy out of New Jersey. You cannot take his wants for AMG.
No, you can't.
That's right. The Italians and the Armenians are like, oh, bro, if it's not AMG, it's not even.
100%.
Same thing. It's so funny.
And then the fourth is like a, I don't know, maybe an Aston Martin just to fuck off.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, you don't have to have a fourth car. I think your practical sense of like not having like you're saying, like your ideal life or like your victory was like an apartment. No,
yeah.
That I don't think it's like a lack of imagination or that you have to force anything. I think it's like you're grateful and you've seen how low the depths can be that you're just like, you're grateful for like the simple stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a stoic value that's beautiful, I think all of us want to achieve at some point.
Thank you. But then again, there is the AMG part of me as well.
Well,
so don't forget that.
Well, I'm a super simple guy too, but I want a sex robot and a machine that can make all the food I ever fantasize about. But I'm not going to give. Everything has a price. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, sure. I know people that like are willing to give their life up because they want a yacht. It's like you're probably not going to get the yacht, and by the time you get the yacht, you won't have any friends left or any time, and you'll be way older, and you'll be like, yeah, I got my yacht. But to them, it's worth it. But to me, I'm like, the price you pay for the yacht. Terrible
investment.
It's not a good time to get a yacht. However, if you could just press a button and have a yacht in, let's say, a fantasy podcast, you can have that. But it's the price that you pay for it. So I appreciate your simplistic stuff that you want. A Tahoe instead of a Denali. That's very nice.
Thank you very much. We mentioned the basement, finished basement.
Yeah, take us into the basement. I want to go into it.
So finished basement, carpeting, nice carpet. Furniture, full kitchen.
Oh, you gotta have a kitchen in your basement. You gotta be able to rent it out when you want to.
That's another. That's another New Jersey thing. A lot of people grew up and they just had kitchens in their basement.
Yeah.
What we did is my parents redid their kitchen and then just moved the old kitchen downstairs.
Oh, they just took everything out?
Yeah.
As the contractors were pulling the countertops, they're like, oh, no. That goes downstairs.
I don't think they use the same countertops, but all the appliances, the fridge, the stove, the oven, all that was the same. And that was like the store. That was like the holiday cooking.
Yeah.
Downstairs, all that stuff. I'm gonna say basketball court because Link's super into basketball.
In the basement?
In the basement, yeah. So that's there.
My friends in Chicago, when I was a kid growing up, they had a mini basketball court in their basement. It was so
oh my god!
We used to just shoot hockey pucks around in it, and dude.
Oh. That's a good idea. Like utility court option. Yeah. Okay,
indoor, doesn't matter if there's a tornado. You're like, we're playing hockey.
Yeah.
We're on above the sea level. We're fine.
Yeah, if it's a fantasy house, then I want a utility, and then also as part of the hockey, I also want Ray Bork there full time.
Raymond Borg in your that's great though. I like that. I like when people put human slaves into their fantasy house. Like this person has to be there.
Or maybe Al Iafredi, so he could teach me to shoot a puck 100 plus miles an hour.
Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah, basic, modest, simple, finished basement. TV, couches, kitchen, basketball court with Ray Bork in it.
A very basic. We went from the Tahoe instead of the Denali to there are humans that stay with me at all times, and they are my tutors.
And
Love
you know
it.
what? I'm going to double down on this and make an admission that I didn't mean to say Ray Bork. I meant to say Patrick Waugh in full
Oh
goalie.
yeah.
So I could really see what I'm made of with my
Oh yeah, dude. Really. Good.
Let's see. As long as we're on the fantasy, there will be a batting cage as well.
Oh, dude, love a batting cage built into the house, dude.
Forget
Underground.
it. Yeah. Dude,
But
you know
before
what's
we had
nuts?
kids, my wife and I used to go to the batting cage every now and then just to drink a beer and just hit balls.
Dude, you know what's crazy is like, that's just like, I'm not going to say normal, but that's like, people just have that now. Like people like that are like psycho about baseball and their kids being good at it. Like their basement is a batting cage. And it's just like, that blows my mind that people are doing. I mean, I understand, you know, technology's advanced and like the machines aren't like,
They're not huge.
they're not industrial size anymore, but it's like, I go on Instagram and it's like, my whole Instagram discover page is like weightlifting, baseball videos, and like high school wrestling and high school baseball, because I'm just like randomly on all these like I just love high school. I realize how bad that sounds.
Yeah.
And it's all these kids that are like just doing T work in their basement and hitting real balls, and I'm like, you're doing that in your basement? Are you out of your mind?
So dope though. So we have
incredible.
a batting cage in your basement. So that's good. That's definitely fun. What? Hey, let's go to your regular kitchen. I want to know, like, do you have a super kitchen?
Define
like pick a couple things, because we've already been doing so much of the episode. Pick a couple things that are like that we have to see. We got to go to.
There's got to be an island in the kitchen, open concept, sink in the island, and then a separate eating island.
Oh yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Giant farmhouse sink.
Yep.
That's a thing, right?
Oh yeah.
That was like when we moved out of our condo, we got rid of our, we had to leave the sink, and I was like devastated about it because it was like just so useful and huge.
Oh yeah, a giant sink is so, especially like a modern farmhouse one, is beautiful. Or the granite or whatever, the countertops, like it cuts out through it, so it's a little bit lower.
Yep.
I love that.
Exactly. No TV in the kitchen because there's a living room off the kitchen, obviously. A little sitting area.
What's on the TV while we're filming this episode?
Yankee right now, or inside my fantasy house?
In your fantasy house.
The Yankees, nonstop
Yankees.
Also in my fantasy house, baseball is on 162. 162? Nope, 365 days a year.
You just blew my mind. It's like, this whole time I thought there was 365. There's 160 days a year.
You're 80 years old. You didn't know it.
Fuck. I didn't do any of the shit I wanted to do. I still don't have my own apartment. I still don't have a job. We're both 80, couple 80. If we were both 80 and looked this hot, oh man.
I plan on it.
That's the future that I would like to see. I plan on it too, but like if technology can do it, because I'm still eating like hot fudge sundaes,
Yeah, I plan on it, and then I stand up and everything cracks, and I'm like, maybe I'll just settle for being able to walk.
Yeah, just accepting however we are. If I'm alive and not in total pain, I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Put some whiskey in a Camelback. Walk around. I know, not you. Not you. You won't. You will be putting water or Gatorade in there.
Gatorade. There's a giant dining room, very palatial dining room, not like a ballroom, but a big dining room. Table that seats 20. I'm going to say
dinners.
Family dinners.
Yeah.
Enough. I always kind of want my house to be the house that where like kids are just welcome.
Yeah.
My kids' friends.
Those are great houses, dude. Those create great memories because I've been to those houses. I've had friends at those houses when I was a kid. So essential. Like the parents are just super welcoming, really nice. They're not yelling at their kids being awful. They're friendly. They say, "Hey, stay for dinner," and they're just like super cool, and you learn from them. You're being raised by a village and a tribe. So beautiful.
Butler's pantry off the dining room.
Are the kids going to think that years are 162 days, though?
If they're smart.
But Mr. Palmeri told us that, Mom. Well, you're not going over there again. That's what the dad says, not the mom.
I don't know how many bedrooms. Oh, there's a great room with a pool table in it.
I love a good great room, dude.
2 stories. There's a little window cut out on the second story, so it's not like cut off from the rest of the house. My dream house is also 2 stories, by the way.
It's great.
I'm going to say, let's see, there's a master. There's 2 guest rooms. There's a guest suite, and then there's another guest room, but that's for the grandkids.
Yeah. Planning ahead. Look at this guy for the grandkids.
The master is completely separate from the other bedrooms.
Why? Because when the master bedrooms are rocking, you guys don't need to hear what's going on in there.
You know what? It's funny because so the house I grew up in was like a 1-story thing. 1-story thing. Listen to me. It was 1 story, and then my parents put an addition on, and the only thing they did a bunch of work to the single story, but then they added a 2nd story that was just their bedroom.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that was upstairs. It was also built into a hill.
What?
Yeah, the house was built into, it was just on a hill. So the house was built like into, so like you pulled into the driveway. There was 2 driveways because it was on a slope. So the back driveway went into the garage and the basement, and then you went upstairs. There was 1 whole level where like the whole house was my room, my sister's room, my brother's room, kitchen.
Oh, did you live in a fantasy house already?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying.
This is so rad.
And then upstairs was my parents' room, but that was added. And where I grew up, how I grew up, you never went in my parents' room. That was just how it was. So like when I went over to friends' houses and like they went into their parents' room, I was always stay outside. Even if they were like, "No, come in," I'd be like, "I'm good." That's like, that's your parents' room. That's their space.
Your parents just leave their dildos just laying everywhere? Or they're just like, just stay out of here. Keep your dirty little kid hands out of our room.
We were allowed in there pretty much if they were home. We would always like have like a Friday nights, like we would sleep up there.
Yeah.
Well, if there were friends over, forget it. Like when my parents moved out of that house, we were 21 years old, and my like best friend growing up was like, I need to go upstairs and see your parents' room because it's like the greatest mystery in my entire life. What it looks like.
What is in there? Like you're going to open up the door, it's going to glow like Marcellus Wallace's briefcase?
Exactly.
What did you see in there? I can't explain it.
And then the house that they moved into was set up the same way, whereas like the master was over here and everything else was over there. So I think I just kind of have like this idea that like the owners of the house have their own quarters and you stay out of there and you respect it.
That's cool. I like that you have that because you know that you need that kind of privacy and that ability to retreat and be like, okay, I got that.
Yeah, it's also just kind of like the ultimate power move. It's like, yeah, you live here and you eat everything here, but also, just so you know,
there's this one spot, the floor is fucking lava. Stay out.
Yeah.
Okay, so describe this master bedroom to me.
King size bed.
Mm-hmm.
No TV.
No TV.
I don't have a TV in my bedroom now, and I'm fine with it. Little sitting area, not like the couch on the foot of the bed, but like a separate, like maybe too comfortable, maybe sit and read the paper. That's how old I am.
Okay.
Kind of area. 2 walk-in closets. One for me, one for the wife, obviously. Not a jacuzzi, but a large tub. Maybe a jacuzzi. Fuck it.
Your fantasy house, dude. You give yourself a jacuzzi, damn it.
Yeah. See, I have trouble. I have trouble doing this. Because I don't have too much.
You're just getting wild.
It's
fantasy, man. I think it's great.
Separate his and hers, obviously. Sinks.
What kind of material is the sink made out of?
Like the actual sink?
Yeah, like I want to paint a picture to our listeners, like the colors and the tones and like the lighting and the texture.
Let me just, I don't like I like the look of like a black and white simplistic modern, but like I also kind of feel like I'd go crazy like I'm living in a hotel there, so I need something warmer.
Totally.
Like a tanner, a tan-ish, brownish, deep red.
Yeah.
You're in a warm home. Wood floors, obviously.
Throughout the entire house.
Wood floors, runners on the wood floors. So where you walk is carpeted and nice and quiet, but generally wood floors. So granite countertops. Nope, I don't need a giant sink.
Only in the kitchen, baby.
Only in the kitchen. Only in the kitchen.
If you had farmhouse sinks for like visitors' farmhouse, like You're washing your hands and brushing your teeth in this giant sink. Hey, honey.
I'm just standing in the sink.
Oh, that'd be funny, dude. The giant sink. My bathroom's a big sink. Sam Tripoli, his master bathroom was a giant pool that you just go in and piss and shit in. So, you can't have that.
See, Sam doesn't have any problem letting go when it comes to stuff like this.
No, he doesn't.
I am a generally more reserved person. Yeah, jacuzzi, walk-in shower, maybe 2 showers.
Ooh, his and her showers?
Maybe. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I feel like this needs to be a 3-hour episode because as we go farther along, you're like, you know what? I think I need an 80-car garage.
I need 80. I need 80 Chevy Tahoes.
Chevy Tahoes. Chevy. It's a knockoff North Korean brand. It's just like the regular.
Now I'm gonna get crazy.
Okay.
And say that inside my fantasy house, or maybe outside, maybe connected, is my favorite deli from growing up.
Oh.
With all of the employees, I'll pay them. Obviously, healthcare covered.
Hazard pay.
Everything.
Face masks now too.
Hazard pay. They are the real heroes. Yeah, that's there. I moved that into my house.
Okay, so we're filming your episode right now. We're going into that deli.
Uh-huh.
What the hell are we eating together?
Oh, bro, you don't even know. We're having. So my favorite sandwich was ham, salami, fresh mozzarella on semolina roll. A little bit of oil, a little bit of vinegar. The mozzarella's got to be lightly salted. That's the sandwich. But to go, you'd always get a pound of ham, pound of salami, full twist, fresh mozzarella. Which I realize I'm saying that funny to people, but hey, this is my fucking podcast.
Oh,
when I'm in a restaurant or I'm in a store out here, I say mozzarella just because I don't need people looking at me.
But when you're doing your episode, you say mozzarella.
Correct. Or talking to family or anyone that knows. If I was talking to Sandra, I'd say mozzarella.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. Oh, dude.
But that's what we're eating. We're getting that on a full loaf, and then we're splitting it.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Sandwiches are like the white boy burrito. I fucking love them. Like a good sandwich on the right bread, dude.
I joke around about this a lot, but it's like basically most of my problems in life can be fixed with a sandwich. Like anytime I'm like existentially losing it, Amaya's like, "Do you need a sandwich?" And I'm like, "Yeah, probably." And then like I have a sandwich, and I'm like, "I can handle anything. I can handle everything." I was just freaking out about.
This is my wife. My wife tells me like, "Do you need to go on a bike ride? Do you need a glass of whiskey?" But your wife says, "Do you need a sandwich?"
Yeah, she knows.
I love it, dude.
She knows, dude.
Do you need a sandwich? Is everything okay? Like, it's so Italian too. Like to be like her handing you one too. Like, do you need a sandwich right now? Here, eat this.
Dude, Amaya jokes. Well, she doesn't joke, but she tells the story all the time. We were in the hospital for Link. I was like kind of having a little bit of a meltdown, and my mom was like, have you eaten? And I was like, yeah, I ate. And that's also the other thing. We're always like, yeah, I ate. I'm not hungry. Even though basically they know the cause. And my mom pulled the turkey sandwich out of her purse and gave it to me. And she was like, I've never seen A, someone do that, or B, someone transform, pull a 180 as fast as you did. And also the funniest part is that the sandwich was for my father, who then in turn was like, what the hell am I eating?
Sandwich.
That's my sandwich.
I love it, dude. Well, a sandwich is perfect because just like a burrito is perfect. It's you got your bread, you got the doughiness of the bread, especially if it's good bread, which is so essential. Mm-hmm. And then you've got meat. You're covered there. Some sort of sauce, whether it be oil and vinegar, mayonnaise. I do a real cheating fat boy thing where I want oil, vinegar, salt, and pepper, and I put mayonnaise on like any Italian sandwich. Mayonnaise and mustard. So I just go like, I hope I don't offend anyone or have to pay for it with heart disease, but dude, I throw globs of mayonnaise and a little bit of mustard and oil and vinegar on everything. Oh, after this is over, I'm going in the other room. I'm making a sandwich.
I'm probably going to make a gigantic sandwich as well.
Do you keep your pickles? Like, do you keep your pickle juice like after your store-bought pickles are done and then throw your own cucumbers in there?
I'm going to blow your mind. I've never had a pickle.
Okay. I think we have to end on that.
Bro, I don't know. It's for my best friend growing up, Johnny Teneri. He loved pickles, and I think I was so freaked out by his love of this. And also it was around the time Ghostbusters came out, so I think I associated Slimer with pickles.
So you still never eat pickles?
Listen, if they're on a sandwich already and I'm already eating it,
You're
or
not
they're
gonna,
on a burger.
you're not gonna be a little bitch.
I've already had a bite of it. I'm not gonna like sit there and pick out the pickles. Whatever.
That's like me with black olives.
Yeah,
That's me with
yeah.
Black olives.
Yeah. It's a sunk cost at that point. I've already tasted it. It's fine. I don't want to go through the machinations of pulling all them out and everyone being like, "You don't need pickles."
This is exactly my reaction to black olives. I never ever ask for them on or in anything, but when they are, I'm just like, okay, if there's not too many of them, I'm not gonna throw it on the ground and be a diva.
I'm not gonna be weird.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna expound on my weirdness here. So no, we're not a pickle house. I don't even know. I think Amaya eats pickles.
She does it behind her back, bro. It's there for you to find out.
That's why she's always going to bed so early.
Yeah, you catch her. You think you're catching her watching porn, but she's like looking up. She's ordering like pickles online.
She's on Classic.com.
She's on Classic.com, and she orders it on and she gets it with the packaging having no labels.
Yeah.
This is a gift. Please make sure there's no labels on the boxes. Okay, so no pickles in your fantasy house. All right, so we got to wrap it up because it's been a long ass, beautiful episode already.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you got to show us before we take off from your fantasy house?
No, man, that's it. There's a swimming pool. There's a swimming pool in the back. A nice pool with a black bottom. I like that with a giant P right in the middle.
Yeah, is that for your first or your last name?
I'll let you decide.
I was just gonna say, no one ever gets to know.
There's a hot tub off the deep end. I like that. I see that in some houses. I think that's a boss move. Hot tub off the deep end. You don't really see that all that often.
Why don't you see that often?
I don't see it a lot. Do you see it a lot?
I don't know. I never noticed it, but it's something I'm going to pay attention to now. I don't have a pool currently.
Hot tubs traditionally are off either separate or off the shallow end or like right near the shallow end.
But the deep end's got a little bit more adventure.
Yeah.
You want to get hot?
Yeah.
Sure. Swim over here.
You got to be able to handle the deep end, bro.
Got to be able. If you want to get heat, bruh.
Yeah.
Eat a pickle in that deep end, dog.
Oh, and in the backyard is also Yankee Stadium. So maybe that'll be my cap.
What a way to end it.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for doing this.
Dude, thank you for having me. Stay well. I miss you.
Rad Fantasy House. Rad getting to talk to you. I love making comedy with you. Long overdue. And
always is, brother.
Guys, thank you for listening to Fantasy House with Paul Palmeri. Where can people find you? Where do you want them to find you? Instagram? Is that your favorite?
Yeah, Insta, Twitter, both the same name, @thispaul.
@thispaul.
Yeah, that's it. That's me.
That's it, guys. Find Paul. He's a fine human being. Great comedian. Great dude. And a wonderful dad, I'm sure. I watch his Instagram stories every day, unless he's an asshole as soon as he shuts that camera off. I'm like, okay, these kids are just playing, having a good time. If this is your first time listening, guys, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star review. Come on, write something down. I love it when I read those reviews. It makes me so happy, brings a ton of joy. And, hit me up if you have any questions about anything real estate related, guys. fantasyhousepodcast@gmail.com. Be silly and have fun. Be safe out there, guys. Please be appreciative of all these people out there hustling in this crazy viral situation we're in. See a lot of people out there working their butts off. Some of them don't even want to be, and they're like, I'm not a hero, I fucking hate this, and I just have to do it for work. I'm like, all right, great. Well, either way, you're a fucking hero. So thank you guys. You guys are heroes. Give it up for everybody. Be silly, have fun. Mwah!